I'm going to put on the adapter plate. What is this? Basically a billet plate that changes the bolt pattern of the throttle body on a stock Harley to the S&S teardrop bolt pattern. The first thing we're going to do here is install the adapter plate. Put the gasket behind the plate and stick in the bolts with Loctite applied, blue Loctite, and use an 1/8 inch Allen wrench to run these little button head screws into the throttle body. Okay, first one started. Make sure that when you put this adapter on that the notch for the breather tube is just to the right of center on the top side. Okay, the next step is to torque those to spec. And the spec, of course, is in your installation instructions. Next step is basically to install your breather tube, your breather hardware. When the kit comes to you, it's going to have this uncut long tube, and the reason why I guess the tube is like this is because the various engines that this air cleaner kit fits on are different heights, and so as the motor grows, of course, this tube has to get longer and shorter. Okay, so it's basically a cut to fit type of a tube, and you want to center the T in the tube basically in the cutout of the billet adapter here, and so you can take and put your banjo fitting and basically thread that into the head. Okay, get both of them in there, determine the tube length, eyeball it, and basically cut the tube so that it would, of course, seat all the way onto the banjo fitting. Okay, so as far as the assembly of the banjo fitting, this would be the banjo fitting onto the breather hardware. You have a coated metal washer, one with a large diameter ID and one with a small ID. Okay, the large diameter ID goes onto the hardware first. And you can see how there's a taper on this hardware. So that large diameter ID, of course, fits all the way over that, and the small diameter ID won't. So, of course, the big one goes on first. Now the banjo fitting goes on next. Banjo fitting has a small ID and a large ID. Okay, if you put the large ID on first, it's loose, so it certainly needs to go on such that the small ID is towards the taper. Okay, small washer next, and put a little blue Loctite on that hardware. And this hardware has a 7/8 hex head on it, so you could use a 7/8 wrench or a 7/8 socket. And you want to align your banjo fitting so that the hose coming out of it is facing between the throttle body and the bracket on top of the throttle body. Okay, so I'm going to take my pre-cut hose, as long as my banjo is loose here. And basically push it on there. I already got the clamp on the hose. I'm just going to come out here and push it on. Of course, you can use the pliers to relieve that spring clamp, but I was able to overcome it here. I'll back this out so I can get it to swing. And it sits down in there just like we want it to. Okay, I just got it snug for now. I'll come back and torque it here after I get the front one installed again. Big coated washer ID first. Small end of the banjo goes on first, and then the small washer. Lock tight. Bolt started. Grab a pliers for this one. Okay. All right, grab a 7/8 socket and torque it down. There's two decorative covers. The banjo fitting would come through this slot right here. It has a little button head screw. So we put a little Loctite on that screw. And push that right on there. 5/32 Allen. And torque. The 3 cap screws for the back plate have pre-applied Loctite, so I don't need to install Loctite here. This is a 3/16 Allen. Install the hose. I can get my finger right behind the tube here and just push it on. One thing to note is that the clamp for the backplate tube is a little different diameter than the clamp for the two banjos, so there should be 2 clamps that are small and 1 clamp that is large in the kit. You need your gasket behind your backplate, and let's see here, I can hold it up. The gasket's got a irregular shape for when it's put on a carburetor. It's kind of a multi-purpose gasket, so basically installs like so. I just want to get my fastener through the gasket here. Okay, get that one started. And torque. Okay, back plate's on, fastener's torqued, we're ready for the air cleaner. Okay, S&S air cleaner is a basically a pleated gauze style filter. There's a little tang here on the back plate that the air cleaner needs to kind of be, forced out around, if you will, towards the teardrop shape to go over, and basically holds itself in place. The S&S air cleaner has a little stinger, we call it, for increased performance and better airflow. As well, you have a nice radius backplate to create basically a venturi, like for a velocity stack. So we're gonna basically line up everything here. Throw a little Loctite on these too. And you need a large Phillips screwdriver. Tighten these down. So there you have a complete installation of the Teardrop air cleaner.